essentially TK is the bridge between the preschool patchwork. In other words, we've got all these systems. We've got Head Start, we've got state preschool, we've got child development, we've got private, and we have no services. And we're not serving all of our children. It's not universal, it's not consistent. It's really, well, as I say, a patchwork and what happens in traditional kindergarten. And this is something that one of my colleagues, Whit Hayslip, likes to emphasize, which is that traditional kindergarten had an emphasis on academic skills and decoding, so very academic, no news to any of us, and language, communication, social, emotional. To a certain extent, we're kind of turning that around, so that transitional kindergarten really has an emphasis on language, communication, social, emotional, and we're not forgetting, but it's a matter of emphasis in how we do it, how we design and structure our curriculum. The way I see it is that it's an opportunity for children, families, and school districts to offer an enriched, high-quality TK program, and if we do it correctly, look at the title of my book, Getting It Right, children will greatly benefit, no doubt. It's also giving us a chance to implement and evaluate a new approach to pre-K. And before I go on, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the particulars with the LAUSD TK program, but because we were implementing it as a pilot program in 2010, 2011, we were developing it as we were implementing it, and as any new approach requires continued development and really good, rigorous evaluation. We need to know which parts of it worked for which kids and what types of PD is required. So we have actually submitted a grant, an IES grant, an LAUSD, to continue the development and evaluation of this program. Those of you, some of us have been looking at this in early childhood for so long that we know that if we don't have empirical results, documentation that children achieve better because they attend this program, then we're all at risk. In these days of dwindling resources, we have to really be able to point to concrete evidence that these children do benefit in ways that legislators care about. So this is a really good opportunity. We're still really hoping that we get this federal grant, but even if we don't get it, we need to make sure we evaluate in some way. Well, wait a minute, and one solution to the growing problem of kindergarten readiness. It's not the whole solution. There are a whole bunch of 4-year-olds that are getting nothing. It's a possibility at this point, that's what I would say. LAUSD, who was attending it? Children from all birthdays, obviously. There was a priority on children who had had no preschool experiences. In that year, in the TK program, most of the children were dual language learners, very high proportion of children in poverty, more than 75%. But again, that's LAUSD, that's who we're serving. And we had 36 pilot sites. The estimated TK population for California, ultimately 120,000 children in California will be eligible for this program. That's more than some states serve. That's a very, very large number of children. And it's estimated that 42 to 45% will be identified as English learners. That's huge. Again, 52% Hispanic, 28% white, 10% Asian, and 5% African American. More than 22% from poverty households, and that estimate's probably going up, to tell you the truth. Every time we look at poverty estimates because of this great recession, the percentage of families with children who are living below the poverty line just increases and increases. So those issues have really become much more urgent, I think. But more than 45% would qualify as low income or less than 200% of poverty. So a huge percent low income. So as the global economy becomes more competitive and interdependent, we will more than ever need the talents of all our people. Our challenge will be to create social institutions that value and benefit from racial, cultural, and linguistic diversity while at the same time guaranteeing opportunities for all.